I'm Ashleigh.
And I'm Brooke.
And you're here with us on A Teachers Who Talk Crime
Podcast.
Hey.
Hello, how are we?
I'm tired.
I'm very tired as well.
I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie.
Traveling knocks it out of you.
Yeah, I didn't travel. I'm still tired. So,
Yeah.
It was a whirlwind of a weekend. You know, it came really quick. You know, we turned up on Saturday. And then I had to take Brooke
I
to
ate chicken nuggets.
Yep, she sure did. I had McDonald's the next day as well. So that's wonderful.
I haven't had McDonald's since college.
Oh, nah.
So, like, my stomach was in, like, bleh mode.
Oh, nah. Whenever I get too intoxicated, the next day just a Big Mac brings me back to life. Sure do.
It just absorbs all of it.
It sure do. And it was needed because, boy, we had a time that night. Sure did.
I love liquids. It was one of the many lines that were said that night.
Oh, yeah. It was a good time. It was a good time, you know.
Yeah.
I'm excited to do it again. I'm excited to do it again. I don't know if my liver can handle it, but
That's why it's now like every blue moon, especially with our age. Like the older you get, like you plan accordingly.
Oh, 100%.
You start a plan, like, yeah.
100%. And then so we were out, you know, enjoying ourselves earlier in the day, you know. And we ran into this young gentleman. And he was talking to us. And he was like, how old are y'all? I was like, 33. Brooke was like 31. Whitney was like 31. He was like, damn, y'all old.
We had no words. Like, he did not even miss a beat. He was like, whoa, y'all are old.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, what?
And then random points throughout the day, it would just be like, can you believe that man said that about us? Because, you know, it just really perplexed me. I feel like overall, I feel like I don't look like a 33-year-old. I mean, I'm not saying I look 25. Like, I know my limits, okay? I'm not going out here gas myself. I feel like I look like a nice little, 30. You know, I put that out there. I'm put a 30. But the way he said that,
he didn't even skip a beat.
Yeah, I'm about to change my lifestyle. I'm about to eat different. I'm about to work out. So when people say that, it's like, for real? Like, I want to hear, man, you old. Like, I don't want to hear that ever again.
Yeah. Because I think normally just to appease people are never like, wow, you're old.
Yeah.
It's always like, you don't look it.
So that means
even
they
if
lie
in the back of their head. Maybe. I don't know. But not for us. But like, I'm just saying, like, even if you thought we were old, like, why did you say that?
100%. Like, someone ain't teach you right.
And then wanted us to take pictures of him.
Yeah. Whitney did it, though. I didn't do it. I was in my tube girl era.
I was all up in my tube girl era.
I made another one tonight in my house.
I'm going to do one in my classroom.
I wish I could.
I'm wearing my new shoes tomorrow.
Oh, you did get them home. I forgot you did get them home.
Yeah.
Okay. We start Girls on the Run tomorrow, so maybe outside. I'll get some service, and I'll do it outside. I don't know.
There you go.
We'll try.
But yeah.
We will try.
There you go.
We'll do our best.
You need to tell people about that club. So Ashleigh has this really, really cool club that she's doing at work, and I think it's just literally fascinating. So I think
wonderful.
you really should tell people.
Okay. Turn off your alarm. I'm having a conversation. Thank you. So I am a co-coach of Girls on the Run this year. So it's like this cute program that, you're training these girls who sign up as 3rd through 5th grade. There is a program for the older grades. I think it's 6th through 8th grade, and I think it's called Heart and Soul. I could be wrong. I'll double check when I look. But essentially, you're training these girls for a 5K, but there's also these embedded lessons to like build their confidence and to like make new friends. And the culminating activity is the 5K. And we also do a community project as well. So I just, wanted to do something. I can't commit to going to a gym. I don't have money for a gym. You know, if anyone wants to fund me to go to the YMCA, hook a girl up. But I figured this would be a good chance for me to get to learn more kids in the building since, I am new to the building and people have seen me around. And to also, run and help these girls become the best versions of themselves. So I'm really excited for it. Super cute.
I just think that's so cute.
They have it everywhere. So I think you can look. Like, it's like they have Girls on the Run International. But, I mean, you'd probably have to do it for the older kids because you're a grown-up teacher.
Right.
But, yeah.
I think, me and Miss Medley have wanted to do something for a while. And, like, this is something we could get behind.
100%. I would look into it because it's definitely great. It's a 6 to 10 week program, 2 times a week. We do a practice 5K halfway through. So me and my friend are going to try and hype that up for the kids because they're like, it's a practice. So the kids have to, get accustomed to actually the big event. So I think that we want to make it as though it's the real event, like balloons, music, people from the community, like a whole big shabam shaboom. And I'm extra, so it's about to be real lit, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly. So I'm really excited.
I like that. And does it tell you, like, I guess because I don't run, so, like, does it tell you, like, the first meeting the girls should be able to do 2 laps?
So
like,
they have a journal. So along with this program, they get a journal. And in the journal, every lesson that we do, they have to add something to the journal. And they do have a running log. So they set a goal for themselves. And they track how much they did after they've done it. So it's not like, oh, they should be able to run. It's really just as much as you can do because it's not discouraging. Like, if you could only do 1 lap, props to you, baby. Props to you. And you would just have to map it out around your area. Like, how much would be a 5K? Because, like, we're doing it in our, like, we have a walking path outside that the kids play on for recess. So that's where they're going to be running when it's not raining. I don't know how many laps makes a 5K. I got to ask, or maybe I have to go and figure it out myself. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun time. I'm excited. We have 11 girls on our team. We could have up to 15. With 2 coaches.
That's
but then
awesome.
if you get more girls, like if you get 2 additional coaches, like you can be like have 2 separate teams. But like, you know what I mean? So I'm excited for it.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
I think we're going to start Diamond Dolls this year.
What's that?
So it's kind of like, you know how football has cheerleaders?
Yeah.
Obviously. Well, for baseball, you would have this group of girls called Diamond Dolls.
Okay.
And they work the concession stands. They sell tickets. If there's foul balls hit, they go get the foul balls and bring them back to the home team.
Oh.
They make signs. They make goodie bags. They have a cheering section. They go to all the home games. So they just kind of represent the baseball team because baseball doesn't have cheerleaders.
Okay.
So, and you get them like cute little shirts that say Diamond Dolls and they wear blue jean shorts to the games. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
that's
so
cute.
they're not like, rah, 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 because they help the community. Like, they're getting their community service by selling tickets. They're, making goodie bags for their player of the week. They're going and getting the foul balls. Yeah.
That's fire. I like that. That's cute.
I did it in high school and I really liked it. And they have it at our high school, but they don't have it for any like younger kids.
Yeah.
And we have a really big baseball team. So
okay.
And there's not a lot of middle school games. So me and Medley figured we could split it. Like, so we're going to propose that. But I also really like this incentive, especially for the kids that don't do track.
Yeah.
Because like track's so intense, but like you're offering them some sort of exercising and movement.
And then
activity.
I asked, because I had to go to the training on Saturday when Brooke was here, but I was like, so do girls have to run? Can they walk? They're like, nope, it's girls on the run, girls on the walk. Girls on
the jog.
Girls on the jog. Just girls on the move, essentially. So
I love that.
I'm excited for that. So, like I said, tomorrow's my first day. I got my new pair of running sneakers. They're hookahs, whatever they're called. Don't know how to pronounce it. Judge me if you want. But they feel like clouds on my feet.
I'm happy
super
for you.
excited. Yeah. And it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah. I love that.
Thank God.
Well, we have this nice little handy dandy timer on the side of our screen now with our new platform. And so it's at the 10-minute mark.
Mhm.
And I just really thought Ashleigh should share that with y'all because, I mean, that's like such a cool program.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to look into
Yeah,
it.
100%.
I would be interested in it because last year we wanted to do some type of fitness club.
Okay.
I can do CrossFit, obviously, but there are a lot of strength movements in CrossFit.
Yeah.
So like the technical things. But this is very interesting.
Yeah,
So I like it.
100%. I was thinking, I mean, granted, I talked to my mom about it because I was like, well, I think, like, is there a program like this for boys out there? And my mom was like, well, boys have a lot of things. Like, there's not a
They
lot
do.
of things that girls have that do this because, boys have all these things. And I'm just like, I'm just thinking about the students that I currently have, like the boy population, like they need some like confidence boosters. But I feel like this is for the girlies. This is for the
girly
girlies.
pops.
This is for the girlies. So, if there's a program like, some similar, maybe not with running, but for boys that I could look into because it takes a lot every day to, hype them up. You feel me? I just got my voice back. Brooke heard me over the weekend. I sounded like a crusty crab. I sure did. But I got it back. But I want to figure out something because granted, I do affirmations every day and I'm always, encouraging them to do their best. Even if they're little gains, I celebrate. But, I understand Girls on the Run is for the girlies. So I don't know
and that's fine.
if there's a program for boys that fosters a confidence and, empowerment, if that's even a thing. But if it is and you know about it, put it in the comments. Let me know.
Let us know.
So I can look into it because, Yeah.
Okay. Well, Ashleigh, do you have our
Estudiante Estrella? So our Estudiante Estrella today is Rena Bina 34. And that's my friend. Shout out to Rena.
Hey, friend.
Hey, Rena girl. And her review is titled Great Show. And it's clearly a 5-star.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yup. I was just,
Yep.
it just didn't sound, a lot. But, it's cool.
I got to count them on my
Yeah,
fingers.
you took your time. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And Rena Bina 34's review reads, love, love, love. Listen on my way to work. Keep up the good work. Short and sweet and to the point. We love that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, girl. Appreciate you.
Hope you're still listening, Rena.
Yeah, you better. But Rena Bina 34, I thank you so much for your review. This gold starts for you. Bing. Yeah.
Yep. Well, we're going to go ahead and get into it. And we're going all the way back to the UK, guys.
Dang.
I know. So sit down, shut up. The murder is about to begin.
Hold up.
All right, so I'm going to be reading off of my handy dandy phone.
Okay.
It just has been so much easier. And we got iPods. No, we didn't. We got AirPods,
Yeah, I was
not
like,
iPods.
I don't have one of those. I don't even know if they
Haven't
make them
had one
anymore.
of those. Haven't had one of those in years.
Oh, no.
So on Easter Monday of 2011, a fire was reported in Nottingham, East Midlands, England. The flames were out of control. When help arrived, 2 young boys and their dog were standing outside the home crying and screaming for their mom, who was still inside the burning home. After the flames were extinguished, the body of 47-year-old Jacqueline Bartlam was found. Now, upon arrival, the oldest son, Daniel Bartlam, gave police a statement in what he saw before he ran out with his little brother and their dog. He told police that a masked man came into their home through the window and hurt their mother before setting their home on fire.
He saw all of this? Oh, okay.
However, on that particular April in 2011, Daniel Bartlam had been the masked man who entered his mother's room while she was asleep and launched a brutal assault on her with a hammer. Subsequently, he set her body on fire in an attempt to conceal his heinous act.
Wow.
But when they arrived, so as I was researching, when they first arrived, he put on a show. He had his baby brother. He had the dog. He was the hero. He had saved his brother and the dog, and he was, all these things. And then come to find out.
And I think it's crazy how he said, like, oh, a masked man came in and lo and behold, like, you were the masked man. Like, like, how you do that?
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's 14. He's 14. Okay. This serves as just one example of children who commit homicide, with a total of 81. And I bring up some stats today because we have done a lot of cases from the UK. So I was just like, oh, let me get in my little math girl era, my little math brain, and do some stats for you guys, okay? So y'all ready for these stats? There's a total of 81 child murder convictions recorded in England and Wales between the years of 2008 and 2011.
Oh, wow.
In the United States, statistics reveal that children kill a parent approximately 5 times a week. Yes, you heard that right.
A week? Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Oh, no.
Yes.
I don't like that. As a mother, I also don't like that, but also my kids are obsessed with me, so.
They are.
So.
They're obsessed with you. They are. Yes.
But that's really scary.
Is that not scary?
That is absolutely terrifying.
That accounts for roughly 1% of all homicides in the United States.
But it's crazy that it's only 1%, but it's like 5 days out of the week.
5 times a week.
Like,
so what are these adults doing to make up the other, 84%?
They doing something.
Exactly. Data from the United States indicates that juveniles account for only 16% of murders where biological children kill their mothers, while adults over 18 years of age are responsible for the remaining 84%.
Wow.
And see, that's weird to me because I consider 18 to like 22 still being a kid.
Yeah,
you know what
but
I mean?
Legally, like, you're an adult.
Legally, you're an adult. I get it. Now, let's get into the Daniel Bartlam case. On that tragic evening, Daniel Bartlam fled from a burning house alongside his younger brother and their dog, awaiting the arrival of emergency services. When questioned by the police, he initially claimed there was an intruder who had set fire on the house and potentially harmed his mother. Jacqueline's other son, the youngest, denied those claims and that chain of events when it was asked that he confirm his brother's story. So the youngest was like 6 and was like, that ain't what happened.
I mean, 100%, because like, if you are breaking into somebody's house, you just going for the mom and you gonna let the kids observe all of this, and you just essentially be like, all right, I'm lighting this on fire. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah.
That just doesn't sit right in my spirit, clearly.
Exactly. Jacqueline was transported to a medical examiner, and it was discovered that Jacqueline had not died from the fire, but that she had been bludgeoned to death. Fire investigators determined that the fire was no accident and had been an attempt to cover up a murder. However, Daniel Bartlam later confessed to the police that he had murdered his mother in an argument. During a search of the residence, law enforcement discovered a hammer near Jacqueline's body that they assumed was the murder weapon. But another hammer that was actually used in the attack was found in Daniel's bedroom. And this was determined by the medical examiner. Like, the medical examiner was so thorough that he decided, like, there was a hammer next to Jacqueline's body, but the medical examiner was like, this ain't the hammer. So it was a claw hammer.
But what was that hammer doing in there?
He had staged it.
Oh, wow.
I got 2 hammers. Yeah. He had 2.
Not 2 hammers. We know Brooke loved Kevin Gates.
Yeah, sorry. But he had 2 hammers. So he placed it strategically by the window to make it look like the masked intruder. Yeah. Daniel then told investigators he armed himself with 2 hammers, went into his mother's room and hit her 7 times in the face and head with a claw hammer. He then covered her body with newspaper, poured gas on her, and lit her on fire, which caused the house to go up into flames. Daniel said he grabbed his brother and the dog and went outside the home. He mentioned that his mother had called him a freak, which made him snap. But what was revealed was that this was planned over the course of several weeks, which was confirmed when they uncovered a document on his computer featuring a story in which a character bearing his own name commits a murder by killing his mother.
Wow, with a hammer?
In a creep with a hammer. Yeah.
That is a coinky dink.
Isn't it?
And his name's Daniel in the story?
Yes.
That is a coinky quinky dink. Wow.
Yeah. One part of the story had the main character, Daniel, involved in a robbery, and one section read, quote, "The only place he couldn't get away from his bad deeds was with his mother, Jackie. So one evening, he made it look as though there was a break-in and murdered his mother with a hammer and then set the family home alight."
Wow.
Unquote.
And the crazy thing.
That was in his story.
Wow. But that's real life.
That's like what happened, buddy.
Yeah.
That's like literally what happened. Yeah. But he had also deleted that file and thought that they couldn't find it.
Yeah, that's not really how it works, but...
It's not.
But...
I love when people think that that's how that works.
Yeah, they could find everything.
They can.
Everything. Like, once it's on there, it's on there forever.
That's why it's called a digital footprint.
Yeah.
Some suggest that Daniel Bartlam's actions and his obsession with violent video games and movies could have played a significant role in the assault on his mother. Others knew there were signs before the tragic event took place. For example, months before the murder, Daniel indicated he needed help when he told a counselor that he had been hearing voices, and even more, that those particular voices told him to hurt people. He was even seen by several professionals 6 weeks before the murder took place, and they all said that Daniel did not pose a risk to himself or others, which we now know is not true.
That's scary. So how did you flip that on and how did you flip that off for them so they didn't even tell? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Simon Matters is the former live-in partner of the victim, Jacqueline Bartlam. So that's Jacqueline's boyfriend. Okay. And he lived there in the home with them and the 2 sons and the dog.
Where was he?
And he was actually out of town on business.
Okay.
So Simon Matters discussed Daniel's behavior leading up to the incident in a documentary for a British television network, saying the following, and this is gross and this is graphic. Quote, "He'd have plastic boxes full of figurines, Star Wars and Doctor Who characters, but he'd just urinate in the boxes on those figurines. He also defecated all over the bedroom and in the boxes and hid towels and stuff that he wiped himself with." So he'd just be pooping up in his room.
In boxes.
In boxes.
On these figurines.
Yeah.
Okay. That's different.
It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, that's different. Yeah, 100%.
You know, and I guess if you were chopping up the figurines, that would be one thing. That kind of gives a sign of that you might murder somebody. I don't know. But you know what I mean? But
peeing,
you're peeing and pooping on them.
It's just different. And I just, ugh. And then hiding the towels places, it probably stunk in there.
Oh,
It probably stunk so bad in there.
Oh, God. Oh, I cannot. Oh. Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah. Just okay. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Another sign was in 2010 when Daniel ran away from his home and his mother reported him missing. Authorities found him just wandering around, and in that same year, around that same time, his teacher referred to him to another school counselor when Daniel started shouting and screaming at his tie around his neck, which he called Fred. He even told classmates that he believed Fred was there and was trying to hurt him.
So Fred is the tie.
It's the necktie. And he would just start screaming at it and yelling at it.
Okay.
And that Fred was out to get him and hurt him.
Oh. Okay. That would alarm me as a teacher. Like,
I would do a counselor referral ASAP.
immediately, like, why don't we go can you watch my class? We gonna go take a walk. Come on.
You and Fred come with
Yep,
me.
come on. Let's just go have a conversation because this is out of my jurisdiction.
Yeah.
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 I don't know what to say to that. And I don't want to say the wrong thing. So we just gonna go talk to the professional. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
So strange behaviors. Very, very strange behaviors. But before the incident, Daniel Bartlam grew up in a pretty stable household under his mother and father's care and appeared to be a typical young boy. However, his parents' marriage did not last, and in 2009, the family relocated to a different neighborhood in Nottingham, which meant Daniel had to switch schools. He originally was in a private school with a stellar education, and his mother tried to maintain that for him for a while because Daniel was hell-bent on not wanting to switch schools. Like, he was like, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it. So his mom really tried to continue to pay that tuition, but it just got to be too much. And when the cost became too much, he was then enrolled in an all-boys Christ of Kings school.
Is that when all his behavior started?
Yes, which is where he had to wear a necktie. And that's where Fred was born.
Yep. Okay. And like that's also when he started peeing and pooping?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was then he began withdrawing from social activities, spending the majority of his time alone in his bedroom, engrossed in video games and his collection of horror films. His mother also started seeing Simon Matters, and it got pretty serious. The pair lived together, and Simon really thought he was getting along well with the boys and that he was acting as a father figure in the home. Simon, however, did say that Daniel kind of got weird. He even said he once caught Daniel standing in the doorway of the master bedroom while Simon changed clothes, filming him. And when Simon confronted him, he smirked and laughed.
I'm sorry, what's funny?
Yeah.
What's funny? I want to laugh as well. Daniel. Because you taking videotapes of me without my consent.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Like, that's strange. That's real strange.
Yep. Simon also noted other very weird behaviors that Daniel would do. Like, I think at one point they had painted the floors. They had painted something, and Daniel purposely went and like rubbed his hands or feet through the wet paint. Like, it was something like that. Like, he would just do little things like that were just odd and really uncalled for. And Simon kind of noted those throughout, like Simon being questioned. Now, notably, on Daniel's computer, investigators discovered video clips from a popular films featuring violent scenes. Yeah, including a storyline from a popular soap opera called Coronation Street.
I never heard of it.
In which the male character, John State, used a hammer to kill a woman. And this like came up a bunch in my research. Like, they actually ended up comparing this character to Daniel, like in the media. Like, he was obsessed with this soap opera. Yes.
So that was essentially the motivation of what he did or how he executed it. Okay.
The media had placed significant emphasis on this particular aspect. When attempting to understand the motive behind the brutal attack committed by a 14-year-old boy, some have pointed to violent scenes in television and film as the potential influence in Daniel's life, leading him to this ultimate crime. And we've seen that in other cases where people are like, well, he played violent video games, or he watched horror movies, or he watched murder movies and things like that. But I think it plays a role, but I also think that there might have already been some mental illness there.
And maybe it just took, the move to like bring it to the surface. Yeah.
Right. Because like James plays violent video games. You know what I mean? But like, he doesn't poop and pee in boxes.
Yeah, I used to play Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto. I think I'm pretty well put together. I'm going
Yeah.
tinkle pop on the potty, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, weird.
Yeah.
So, in numerous cases involving children who have killed their parents, a history of abuse and neglect within the family has often been a contributing factor, with the act of killing serving as a breaking point for the child. We've also saw that in the case that you did of the brother-sister duo.
Yes.
Yep.
Can't remember their names, but yes.
Yep. However, Daniel Bartlam's case stands out as one where the motive remains very unclear, and still to this day, he has not given a motive.
Wow.
Yes. There is no evidence of any abuse within the family or at home whatsoever.
Yeah, because he say that he did it because there was an argument?
Yes.
So, like, what was the argument, sir? Like, and also, if that was an argument, you know, people have arguments and there's no evidence, like you said, of abuse. So regardless if it was an argument, that shouldn't have led you to do what you did.
Correct.
With no other.
I'll tell you what the argument was about in a second.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Dr. Kathleen Hyde, a criminology professor at the University of South Florida, Tampa, has conducted extensive research on juveniles who kill their parents. You know, I found this fascinating. Through her comparative studies, she has identified various factors that can heighten the likelihood of a child resorting to violence against a parent. These factors include a dysfunctional family environment, which I can see that, ongoing domestic violence, I can see that, deteriorating living conditions, and an increased susceptibility to the household stressors. Now, we're going to look at these. So Dr. Hyde's research has led her to categorize children who kill their parents in 3 distinct groups. The severely abused child, this group comprises individuals who resort to lethal violence to escape long-term abuse. The violence often escalates over years, and these children perceive no other means of ending their suffering. We've covered a case like that on our podcast. So if you've been here a while, you've heard us. And we necessarily don't defend murder, but like the system failed those kids. Yeah. So they felt like the only way out was take matters in their own hands. Number 2 was the dangerously antisocial children. These juveniles commit murder with the goal of achieving personal desires, such as inheriting money or gaining more freedom. They typically exhibit a lack of respect for adult authority, evade responsibility for their actions, and may exhibit conduct disorders. They pose a greater risk of reoffending and harming others in the future. Tyler Hadley, when he threw that party and his parents' dead bodies were in the bedroom.
Crazy. That's still wild to me.
Like Erin Caffey. She killed her whole family just to be with a boy.
Yep.
Like, oh, wow. It's just wild. Paris Lee Bennett. I mean, he didn't kill his mom, but he killed a sibling.
Yeah, out of jealousy.
Then you have number 3, the severely mentally ill child. This group involves children with a history of severe mental illness, often characterized by delusions or hallucinations that drive them to kill a parent. Their acts may be accompanied by a heightened state of rage, sometimes leading to multiple stab wounds or blows. Some individuals in this category may struggle to comprehend their actions afterward. I actually think Paris Lee Bennett was in that category.
Yeah. Because he was...
He said like the pumpkin, remember like the pumpkin night? Yeah.
He sure did. He sure did.
So go back and listen to that case if you haven't.
I think it's episode 12. I think. Yeah. Or 16, one of the two. I can't remember.
In the case of Daniel Bartlam, his actions raised questions about the motives behind his murder. While he attempted to cover up the crime by setting the house on fire, he did spare his younger brother and the family dog, displaying a calm demeanor when interacting with the police. Now, remember, he tried to act like the hero. He was like, look, I got my brother out. I got my dog out. I'm the hero.
I did a good thing.
Go catch the masked man. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. However, these types of behaviors cast a lot of doubt on the theory of uncontrollable rage. Like, The police are like, look how he's acting. Like, clearly he didn't have a whole bunch of rage because of an argument.
Yeah.
So Daniel's conduct in the months leading to the murder suggests internal struggles. He frequently isolated himself in his room and exhibited unusual behaviors, as noted by his stepfather, Simon Matters. During his trial, it emerged that Daniel had been undergoing counseling in the months prior to the incident. During these sessions, he mentioned hearing voices urging him to harm people and experiencing visions of committing acts of violence. The influence of media, like the Coronation Street storyline, may have played a role in triggering something within Daniel. So like I said, this just confirms like the media and the shows didn't make him murder, but he already had mental illness and it like stirred it up and it like brought it to the front. And once you're like watching that, like he engulfed himself in like media.
Yeah.
That's all he knew. Like, so it pretty much I would go as far to say like, because of his mental illness, the media also just like fed on that and it brainwashed him.
I can see that as well.
Yeah. Certainly, many who are aware of this case assume that Daniel Bartlam must have had some form of mental illness to commit such a horrific act on his own mother. However, the experts who assessed him multiple times did not find evidence of mental illness. He was assessed more than once.
That's crazy.
And they did not find evidence.
Was it the same person that assessed him or was it different people? Do you know?
One was like court appointed. One was right after the tie incident, like the Fred incident. And I don't know, like obviously the court appointed one and the one after the Fred incident, those are not the same.
Yeah.
So at least two different ones.
That's interesting. That's really interesting because, you know, not to assume, but if you were talking to a Ty and saying that he's trying to get you, I would think that, you know, you got something going on up there, you know?
Yeah. I think so. I don't think that's too far-fetched to say.
No, not at all.
So additionally, research indicates that mental illness is more often associated with adults killing their parents rather than children. I don't agree to disagree. I mean, if that's what the research says, who am I to argue with research? But like, we also have 95 episodes stating differently.
Man, okay.
So, all right. So this is a quote from Simon Matters. I do want to go ahead and quote him. And it says, but it seems that Daniel watched so many violent films and video games that he simply lost track of what was real. I'm sure his obsession with these fantasy worlds like films and soap operas caused what he did. So again, everybody's still blaming the media. So like, I guess the overall message is kind of like, you know, maybe watch what your kids are watching.
Right. I know that's right. Because won't be my children.
Yeah. I mean, I tell Casey to turn things. I'm like that. No. Because Momo can't hear. I love her, but she can't hear. So when Casey has the iPad, she really can't hear what's being played. And I'm like, Casey, that said a bad word. Turn it off. And she'll just swipe up. Like she knows. She knows. When the case went to court early in 2012, Daniel Bartlam entered a plea of not guilty for the murder of his mother. He claimed that the killing was not murder because he had, quote, lost self-control. He insisted that he had been provoked during an earlier argument with his mother over a pair of sneakers. And instead, he tried to plead guilty to manslaughter.
Sneakers?
Sneakers.
She was trying to tell you to wear a pair of sneakers, you didn't want to wear them, and then you took a hammer and bludgeoned her to death?
I don't know. The argument was over sneakers.
That's crazy to me. That's bizarre. That's wild. Granted, no one should ever kill anyone.
No.
Ever. But that reason right there.
That's all you got?
Like some shoes.
That's all you can come up with?
Like.
But this is the second time he's changed his story. Because remember, the first time was that his mother had called him a freak. And he snapped. And now he's saying, no. I mean, she did do that, but we also were already arguing over sneakers.
But that's still not.
Yeah.
That's not valid. That's not valid.
Not
that's
at
a
all.
Wrong word to use, but that's not reason to take somebody's life. Again, there's really no reason you should take somebody's life.
Right.
But that for sure ain't it.
I mean, they weren't even like Jordans. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The prosecution, however, wasn't letting him off so easily, and good for them. And they presented the mounds of evidence to show the murder of his mother, Jacqueline, was in fact premeditated. They show computer searches in which Daniel wrote, quote, "How to get away with murder," and, quote, "People who get away with murder."
Not the television show.
Yeah.
Not the television show. That was my show, though. But also, sir, on the computer, use your brain.
Yep. They said that Daniel had begun to blur the line of real life and fiction due to the amount he took in from TV and video games. The detective even took the stand describing the brutality of the scene, saying, quote, "The level of violence, the degree of planning, and the extent of his lies is not only shocking, but also chilling." A jail guard also took the stand and said while Daniel was being held, he became annoyed with another inmate and said the following, quote, "I could kill you just like I killed my mom."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's also just so crazy that you watched so much TV and you were so engrossed that you didn't even know what was real and what wasn't. Like, that's crazy. This is why we need to limit them children's screen time.
Screen time.
100%. Like, the girls get screen time, but it's educational screen time. Like, Ari was like, "I don't want to do math. I want to do the cupcake game." I said, "No. I guess you don't want to play on this iPad."
Play on your iPad.
Because the cupcake games like that is when we go to Nana and Pop-Pops. If I could, I would throw these iPads out the window. I can't stand them. But they here.
But they're in that generation. They're going to have technology.
You know, their school gives iPads. They all have one. I told their teachers, "Don't send that joint home. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it in their book bag. All the apps that's on the school is on their iPad. Don't send that joint home. I don't." Okay?
Yeah.
I don't want no iPad.
Oh, I'm with you. I mean, remember, I had a kid 2 years ago that he was so addicted to gaming. Like, when I asked him to close his Chromebook, he would become aggressive and start shaking with withdrawals. Like, he was so addicted.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Called home and everything. And like, his parents made up excuses for him. And I was like, oh, so clearly this is pointless. Thank you so much for wasting my time.
Like, here's the thing. I know that we're going in a way of technology. I'm aware. But when it comes to the fact of like you're typing essays and you're writing on paper and you can't even write a correct sentence, your sentence has capitals and lower cases in the wrong places. You don't need a computer. You need to prove to me that you can handle this on paper first correctly before I even put a device in front of you. Like, I don't want to use, like, for me teaching ELA, like, y'all ain't gonna use these. You're not, because we're
well, and two, you know, people are getting so worried that like AI is just going to take over. If these kids don't even know what to type into AI, it can't do anything for you.
It's not, because there's children still writing words without vowels, and I literally tell them, look, a word needs to have a vowel in each part of the syllable. Each syllable needs a vowel sound. If you ain't got no vowel, it's not a word. And they still just spelling things wrong. I got a hard road ahead of me. I do. I'm happy to do it, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. 100%. A lot of work.
Well, I was doing translations today, like in my small group and like as a review. And so I gave them the rule, like the algebraic rule, and they had to describe in words like what it was telling them. And the girl said that says that you're going right 4 and down 5. And I was like, okay, that's correct. Can you write that for me? Because that's what the instructions say. Like, this blank is for the number and this blank is for the word. Like, down 4. Like, that's what you write. So she starts writing and she goes, how do you spell down? 8th grade.
It's like that man who just made that video. The man who just made the video about
8th grade.
Yep, he's like, I got 8th graders reading on a 4th grade level. Again,
she does not have an IEP.
I don't understand.
She does not have a 504.
You better collect the data. You better collect it for that baby, because she needs to be identified, baby. We can't spell down. Like, We should know these things. We should know they need to, honestly, wholeheartedly, we need to bring back spelling tests. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that there is no spelling test that you don't have to review, I want to see if I can implement this, because the way my kids are spelling, my co-teacher gave a formative assessment today for social studies, and I had to go around after kids were done and be like, baby, what's this say? And write it down underneath, because I knew he was going to have a hard time. We need spelling tests. This is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who took it away. Granted, I know people are like, research shows that homework is not beneficial. I get that 100%. They've been working all day in school, and then they come home. The last thing you want to do is work them some more. However, do something with your child. Anything.
You have 8th graders that can't spell down.
Like, we're having issues here, and they're continuing up the pipeline. We need to nip it in the butt. I'm really about to look for spelling words, because this needs to be done. It needs to be done.
And this is a rant. We digress. I understand. We're getting back to the story. But so in math, right, you have your original shape and then you have your new shape. Well, you identify the new shape by using an apostrophe. It's called a prime symbol. And so I was like, okay, guys, I was like, in English, what do you call that when it's up top? Like, what's that called? They're like, a comma, a semicolon. Like, they did not know the name of an apostrophe.
And I think the craziest
in the 8th grade.
And I think the craziest thing about this is that most parents, like, you see your kid. Like, you see your kid, you know your kid. You don't see a problem. You don't see an issue.
Nothing wrong.
You think your baby okay?
Do you ask them common sense questions?
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, my kids work when they come home. I'm sorry. I cannot have.
But it doesn't have to be work. You just said it. You put the girls on educational games.
100%.
That's still That's still a game, and it's still educational, and they're still getting screen time.
Yeah, and it's a very minimal screen time. It's 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes for math, 15 minutes for ELA. And then if they want to do more things, I got the little games with the little CBC words. What's this picture of? Spell it out. We don't play around here. We don't play because I see what is happening. And the last thing I want is for my children to be that kid. To be those kids who are struggling and they're getting pushed up the pipeline. I almost held one of my kids back to do kindergarten again.
But I don't think the kids realize they're struggling.
Oh, some of them do. Some of them do. I have a couple, and anytime reading comes along, can I go to the bathroom? No. You can't go to the bathroom, because every day, as soon as I say we about to jump into ELA, I got to go to the bathroom. Every time.
Yeah.
And then you put your head down, because I'm asking you to do an assignment. And then when somebody talks to you, I just don't want to do it. That's not an option. This is your job. Your job is to come here and learn. My job is to teach you. I don't do my job, I get fired. You don't do your job, you get left back.
Yeah.
Like, something's got to give. Something has really got to give, because it's making our jobs 10 times harder. Like, we're still on the rant. I was making my IEP pull-out schedule, and there are so many goals that they're just every day certain kids are missing parts of the same. Like, I try to move it around so that they weren't always missing, like, the beginning of the lesson. Sometimes they're missing the end, but there's so many moving parts. There's not enough time in the day.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Like, it's crazy.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's real crazy.
So, moral of the story, control your kids' screen time. And if you're going to let them have screen time, it needs to be something educational.
And read to them. Talk to them.
Read.
Like, get those little books at the store that's for their grade and have them do a page of something. Yes. Because it's not only on us to teach your kids the ways of the world. Okay?
Y'all can do a puzzle, a family puzzle night.
Something.
Yep.
Because the minimalism that's going into parenting right now,
yeah.
It makes me
So on February 9th, 2012, the jury unanimously convicted Daniel Bartlam of murder.
Okay.
And in April of 2012, Daniel received a life sentence with the minimum prison sentence of 16 years, meaning he cannot even apply for parole until his 16-year minimum is up.
Okay.
Now, in this case, it was decided to reveal Daniel's identity and disclose details of his crime to the public despite his young age. Now, while the trial was going on, His mother's name was not released to the public, and his name was not released to the public. And we've seen that before.
Yeah.
He's a minor.
Mm-mm.
But once Daniel was sentenced and convicted, there was a motion that was put forward, and it asked for the media release. Basically, like, we need to be able to publish this. And they did grant that. And so the extensive media coverage following the trial was due to Daniel's age and the particularly brutal nature of the crime. In the media, various labels were used to describe Daniel Bartlam, such as devil child and savage. These labels have contributed to the ongoing debate surrounding how children who commit murder are portrayed in the media.
100%.
It's at the end of the day, it's still a child.
It is 100%. 100%. 100%.
You know,
like, you did a very adult
but
thing.
the media doesn't care.
They do not. They themselves are the savages, because they will drag you through the mud. Okay, they don't care your age, your gender, your sexual orientation. They will slander you at the drop of a hat, because that's their job.
Yeah, it is. Daniel's youth has generated some level of sympathy compared to if the crime had been committed by an adult. Like we just said, at the end of the day, he did an adult act, but he's still a child.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had some
with
demons
an emphasis
he was,
on
battling.
Exactly.
100%. That don't make him a devil. It just means, he had some things within himself that he couldn't, control, couldn't handle. And, he took it out in a way that was not okay.
It was not okay. So there's been an emphasis on providing him with the appropriate support, which we advocate for here. When examining Dr. Kathleen Hyde's defined categories in Daniel Bartlam's case, the absence of a history of abuse and the lack of diagnosed mental illness highlight the issue of antisocial behavior. So that's the category that Daniel ends up falling into on that three tier spectrum. And this means that when or if Daniel is let out, he has a higher risk of future reoffending.
Nah, we're not going to do that.
And that's researched back.
Yeah.
And it just amazes me that even with research and data, there are prisons and judges that are just like, we're getting a little crowded in there. Bob, you want to go on home? You've done enough time.
Yeah, I hope they take that into consideration. Granted, it's over in the UK, so maybe they might take that into consideration over there when he is eligible for parole,
The rehabilitation of a child, their young age, and their ongoing development are subjects of debate in terms of considering their future. I mean, we do it all the time. We do not agree that the two boys that killed, James Bulger, that they should just be out wandering around. One has consistently reoffended. The other has been under the radar and hasn't done anything since. It could go both ways. So there is a question of whether juveniles can or should be held as fully responsible for their actions as adults. Now, that's an ongoing debate in the UK. That's an ongoing debate in the USA. That is just a debate in general.
Yeah.
Should children be able to be tried as adults, right? In Daniel's case, he was sentenced to a minimum of 16 years, which means that if rehabilitation efforts are deemed successful during this period, he could be released at the age of 26.
Well, my concern is that he's been evaluated a number of times already. And every time he was evaluated, they said he wasn't a danger to himself or others. And then he committed this crime. So who are the professionals deeming that his rehabilitation is successful? Because the professional said he was fine and he clearly was not fine. So that's just a concern for me.
Right. And now you also top it with research that he falls in the antisocial behavior category of kids that commit murder against their parents, which means he is more likely to reoffend.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Now, 26 is still very young.
That's a lot of life to live.
It's a spring chicken.
That's a year over the man that called us old. So,
exactly.
There
you go. Yeah. But with his identity, Daniel's identity, now known to the public, the kind of life he will be able to rebuild for himself is very uncertain. However, what does the UK love to do?
Put kids in witness protection and change their name.
They love to give people new identities on taxpayer money. Yeah.
We're going to find out who you are, Daniel.
So, the public will.
We going to find out.
Yeah. And we don't know if that's going to happen. Daniel's not 26 yet. I mean, he's not up. It's only been 10 years. He's getting close. Yeah. He's getting close. But it's not there yet, so we're not really sure. And we don't even know, what's going on inside the prison. We don't know if he's acting okay, if he's not acting okay. I mean, even when he was just being held for trial, he threatened that one kid. Yeah. So you never know.
We never know what's going down in there at this point in time.
Right. Currently, Daniel Bartlam is serving his sentence, presumably undergoing some form of rehabilitation treatment. And to the public's knowledge, he has never provided any explanations for his actions that evening other than citing that they had an argument. However, the level of planning, clear attempts to conceal the attack, and the brutality of the crime itself makes this one of the most shocking juvenile crimes in the UK history. That is the case of Daniel Bartlam.
Wow.
Yep. And I also threw in some stats for y'all.
Yeah, you did. You went
some research.
You did all of that. You did that today. You sure did.
I did some math. I'm a math girl error.
Yeah.
The stat about 5 times a week.
That's terrifying.
It's just it's really alarming. That's really
today
alarming.
Today is Monday. There's been 1.
Exactly.
And tomorrow, Tuesday, another. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I do not like that at all.
And that's not kids that just hate their parents. That's all the kids in those 3 tiers. That means a kid defended themselves and the parent died. Okay. The kid has been sexually assaulted for many years and took out, finally stood their ground and did something. It's everything under one umbrella. That's where that stat came from. But still, 5 times. Yeah,
that's crazy.
In a week.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's real wild.
Wowzers.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thanks for bringing us that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, this is episode 99, which means
Ashleigh's getting ready for 100.
The big 100 is next week.
Yeah.
And we're bringing you a case. I'm not going to disclose it yet, but a case that a lot of y'all have been asking for 100.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that next week. Okay.
Also, what did you guys think of our special guest?
True. That was technically a while ago, right?
Yeah, but also what are you guys thinking about us on YouTube?
Yeah.
Have you seen us?
Let us know.
Do y'all like it?
We're really recording in advance to really try and get ahead. So this is episode 99 and we just dropped episode 95 today. So we're trying to keep up with what's going on around the time that we release this, but we may, forget, we're not perfect. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
So just bear with us, regardless, we'll update you on our Instagram stories. Y'all are really good with peeping those out and stuff like that. But, a lot of big things are happening for Teachers Start Crime and we're very excited for it. We're ready. We're ready for it.
We are.
We're doing it.
So yeah. Go see us on YouTube. I mean, it's a little cringy to watch yourself, but go let us know what you think. I hear the comments are more brutal on YouTube, so we're prepared.
Are we?
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
But, okay. So just go let us know and be positive on YouTube and get all the negative Nancy's away.
Please and thank you, because I just don't think I'm a look, honestly. I'm just going to stay away for a little bit because that will hurt my heart.
You'll snap back.
I will, but I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be better.
Good for you.
I'm trying, working myself therapy, So, but as always, the bell don't dismiss you.
Oh, we do.
So we will see you next week with a big 100.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Bye.
Bye.